My name is Lena Whitmore. I'm 31 years old, and I didn't know my life was about to fracture cleanly into a before and an after until my phone buzzed on my desk at exactly 11:02 a.m. while I was answering emails I barely remember now. It wasn't during a screaming fight. It wasn't after discovering lipstick on a collar or a drunk confession soaked in guilt. It was polite, measured, almost considerate. Hey, babe. Just so you know, I'm flying out this afternoon to meet my online ex-girlfriend. We've been talking again for 6 months. I need to spend Valentines with someone who actually understands me. I'll be back Sunday night. Don't wait up. I stared at the screen. Once, twice, 3 times. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, numb. What? I typed. The reply came instantly, like he'd been rehearsing this speech for weeks. You heard me. This relationship isn't working. She understands me emotionally in ways you never have. I deserve to explore that. Explore. That word landed like a slap. I leaned back in my chair, the office humming around me, keyboards clacking, someone laughing near the printer, the normal world continuing as if my chest hadn't just cracked open. His name was Evan. He was 29. We'd been together 4 years. Living together for 2. And for the last 8 months, he hadn't worked at all. I paid the rent, utilities, groceries, his phone, streaming services he needed for his mental health. Last month, I'd asked, gently, if he could start contributing, maybe look for work again. That, apparently, was me being controlling. I opened my banking app. There it was. A pending charge. $487.32 to an airline. My supplementary card. The one I'd given him for emergencies. I didn't reply. I didn't call him. I called my credit card company instead. Hi, I said calmly. I need to report a card lost. Within minutes, the card was canceled. Evan was removed as an authorized user. My Amazon password was changed. His phone line was removed from my family plan. 20 minutes. That's all it took to dismantle a life I'd been holding together for years. 2 hours later, my phone rang. Unknown number, I answered. What did you do? Evan's voice cracked, frantic. Lena, my card got declined. They won't let me board. My Uber won't work either. Where are you calling from? I asked. A payphone at the airport. He was crying now. I don't have any money. I closed my eyes. You said you were flying to meet your ex-girlfriend, I said. Why would I pay for that? Because you know I don't have anything, he snapped. You always do this. You control everything. Control. I laughed. I couldn't help it. You planned a Valentine's trip with another woman using my credit card, I said evenly. Call her. I'm sure she understands you emotionally. He went quiet. She can't help, he admitted. She's between jobs. Of course she was. Then call your sister, I said, or your mother. You can't abandon me like this, he pleaded. You abandoned this relationship first, I replied. I'm just making it official. He started sobbing. Please, he whispered, just let me come home and we'll talk. Home. My apartment? I asked. The one I pay for alone? It's our place, he said weakly. The lease is in my name, I said. Always has been. Silence. Then anger. You're abusive, he spat. You're financially abusing me. I hung up. And for the first time in months, the quiet felt clean. Evan came back that night, not alone. At 8:17 p.m., my phone buzzed with a motion alert from the Ring camera. I didn't even need to open the app to know it was him. I'd been sitting on the couch in the dark for the last hour, lights off, laptop closed, just listening to the quiet hum of the apartment I'd paid for, cleaned, and protected for 2 years. When I finally tapped the screen, there they were, Evan and his sister, Rachel. Rachel stood with her arms crossed, jaw clenched, already furious on his behalf. Evan hovered half a step behind her, eyes red, shoulders slumped, playing the role he always slipped into when things didn't go his way. Small, wounded, wronged. Rachel shoved the key into the lock. It didn't turn. She tried again. Harder. Nothing. She knocked. Not politely. She pounded. "Open the door," she shouted. "Right now." I stood, smoothed my sweater, and walked over slowly. I opened the door, but only far enough for the chain to hold. Rachel's eyes snapped to the chain like it was a personal insult. "What the hell is this?" she demanded. "Hi, Rachel," I said calmly. Evan pushed forward. "Lena, baby, please, this is ridiculous. Let me in." "I don't think that's a good idea," I replied. Rachel scoffed. "Are you seriously locking him out? What kind of woman does that?" "The kind whose boyfriend texted her that he was flying to meet another woman on her credit card," I said. Evan flinched. Rachel turned on him. "Is that true?" He hesitated, just a fraction too long. "It's not like that," he muttered. "She's blowing it out of proportion." Rachel snapped her head back toward me. "Even if he messed up, you don't strand someone at the airport. That's cruel." I met her gaze evenly. He wasn't stranded. He had options. I just stopped paying for them. Evan's voice rose, desperate now. "You changed the locks. You canceled my phone. You humiliated me." "I enforced boundaries," I said. "There's a difference." Rachel pulled out her phone. "This is illegal. He lives here." "He's not on the lease," I replied. "Never was." "That doesn't matter," she shot back. "He has tenant rights." "Not in this state," I said. "He never paid rent. That makes him a guest who overstayed." Her mouth opened, then closed. She clearly hadn't expected me to know that. Evan started crying again. Full on, shoulders shaking, voice breaking. "Please," he said, "I made a mistake. She doesn't mean anything." "You called her someone who understands you emotionally in ways I never could," I said. "That's not nothing." Rachel softened, placing a hand on his arm. "Everyone makes mistakes," she said to me. "You're really going to throw away 4 years over this?" "He threw it away 6 months ago," I replied. "I just found out today." Evan stepped closer, fingers wrapping around the doorframe. "Lena, we can fix this. I'll block her. I'll get a job, I swear." I looked at him for a long moment, at the man who'd promised the same things every time I asked him to contribute. The man who'd secretly built a fantasy with another woman while I paid his bills. "No," I said. Rachel's face hardened. "You're heartless." "No," I said again. "I'm done." Evan's eyes darted past me into the apartment. "Can I at least get my stuff?" I stepped aside slightly and pointed down the hallway. 5 boxes, 2 suitcases, everything neatly packed and labeled. I'd started as soon as I hung up the phone with him earlier that day. Folding shirts, wrapping electronics, packing toiletries. No rage, no theatrics, just methodical closure. Rachel blinked. "You went through his things?" "I packed them carefully," I said. "Everything he owns is there." Rachel marched inside despite the chain, leaning as far as she could to inspect the boxes. "Where's his watch? The silver one?" "The one I bought him?" I asked. "That's mine." "You gave it to him." "When we were together," I said. "Or not." Evan's face twisted. "You're keeping gifts now?" "I'm keeping what I paid for," I replied. He suddenly straightened, anger cutting through the tears. "You're unbelievable." "No," I said quietly. "I was unbelievable when I supported you for 8 months while you flirted with another woman online. This is just me stopping." Rachel shook her head, disgusted. "This is emotional abuse." I smiled faintly. "Interesting. Because my therapist calls it self-respect." That stopped her. Evan slumped again. "Where am I supposed to go?" I shrugged. "Your sisters, your parents, your ex-girlfriends." "She lives with her mom," he muttered. "That sounds like a you problem," I said. Rachel grabbed one of the boxes roughly. "Come on," she snapped at him. "We're leaving." As they loaded the car, Evan turned back one last time. "You're going to regret this," he said. "She would never treat me like this." "Then go be with her," I replied. He scoffed. "You think you're better than me?" "I think I'm done paying for you," I said. "That's all." He opened his mouth to say something else, but nothing came out. Rachel slammed the trunk. They drove off. I watched the taillights disappear through the peephole. Then I slid the chain free and closed the door. The apartment felt bigger without him, quieter, lighter. And for the first time in a long time, I slept through the night. I woke up the next morning to my phone vibrating nonstop on the nightstand. Not calls, notifications. Tag after tag after tag Evan had posted. A long one. Black background, white text, sad song in the background. The kind people use for breakups and funerals and vague tragedies they want sympathy for. When you finally escape a financially abusive relationship and realize love was never supposed to come with control, humiliation, and punishment. Some people can't handle emotionally deep men. I was abandoned at the airport and made homeless days before Valentine's Day. Please be kind. I stared at the screen, my jaw tight. Made homeless. Abandoned. Financially abusive. Within minutes, the comments had exploded. Half of them were exactly what he wanted. Stay strong. You didn't deserve that. She sounds toxic. Men deserve emotional safety too. The other half were quieter, more careful. Wait, why were you at the airport? Didn't you live with her? What do you mean financially abusive? I didn't comment. I didn't post. I showered, dressed, and went to work like it was any other Tuesday. At 10:14 a.m., my phone rang. Evan's mother. I hesitated for a moment before answering. We'd always been cordial, friendly even. She'd sent birthday cards, invited me to holidays, told me once she was glad Evan had finally found a woman who grounded him. Hi, Marissa, I said. There was a pause on the other end, a long one. Lena, she said slowly, I need you to explain something to me. I leaned back in my chair. Okay. I'm seeing some things online, she continued. Evan says you left him stranded, that you controlled all the money and kicked him out. I closed my eyes. Did he tell you why he was at the airport? I asked. Another pause. No, she said. He said he was trying to get space. I unlocked my phone and pulled up the screenshot, the text. The exact words. I forwarded it to her without another word. 30 seconds passed. A minute. Then I heard her inhale sharply. What now? She said. He told you I cheated, she added quietly. Didn't he? Yes, I said. He did. Silence. Then, something I hadn't expected. A bitter laugh. Oh my God, she muttered. 6 months. That's what he said, I replied. An emotional affair with his ex-girlfriend. He used my credit card to book the flight. Her voice dropped. Is she unemployed too? Yes. Another laugh. This one sharper, angry. I raised an idiot, Marissa said flatly. I said nothing. She's staying with her sister now, she continued. Rachel called me this morning. She's furious. Says Evan won't get off his phone, won't help around the house, keeps saying you ruined his life. I exhaled slowly. I didn't ruin his life, I said. I stopped funding it. I'm so sorry, Lena, she said. And for the first time, I believed it. We liked you. I liked you. Thank you, I replied. She's trying to get his father to pay for another plane ticket, she added. To go see that woman. I almost laughed. His father said no, she finished. So did I. Small victories. That afternoon, an unfamiliar name popped up in my messages. Kayla. Hi, I'm Evan's ex. He gave me your number. I think there's been a misunderstanding and we should talk woman to woman. I stared at it for a long moment before responding. What misunderstanding? Her reply came quickly. He said you were separated, that things were basically over. We were just reconnecting. Reconnect. I scrolled through my screenshots and sent her the message Evan had sent me about their deep emotional connection. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, reappeared. He said you were controlling and jealous. He said you monitored his spending. He said you knew about me. I typed 1 sentence. Did he tell you he was using my credit card to fly to you? There was a long pause. Then, no. Another message followed almost immediately. He told me he was paying for it himself. I leaned back, staring at the ceiling. He told both of us different stories, I said out loud to no one. Minutes later, my phone rang. Kayla, I answered. He said you were abusive, she said, without preamble. Her voice sounded shaken. That you controlled him. And did that match what you saw? I asked calmly. No, she admitted. He was always vague. Said he couldn't talk freely around you. Because I paid the phone bill, I said. She went quiet. I didn't know, she said finally. I swear, I thought we were just reconnecting. Did you know he still lived with me? I asked. No. Did you know he didn't have a job? Another pause. No. I exhaled slowly. Then I suggest you ask yourself why everything real about his life was something he hid. She swallowed audibly. I feel sick. You should, I said gently. I did too, yesterday. She was quiet for a long time. I'm blocking him, she said. This isn't what I signed up for. That's wise, I replied. An hour later, my phone rang again. Evan. I didn't answer. He texted. You ruined everything. I stared at the words, then locked my phone and slid it face down on the desk. By evening, the narrative online had shifted. Someone, one of Evan's friends, I suspected, had commented under his post. Wait, didn't you cheat on her with your ex? Why were you flying out? The comment vanished within minutes. So did the post. That night, I made dinner for one. A real meal. Vegetables, protein, food I actually liked. I ate at the table instead of the couch. The apartment was still quiet, but now it felt intentional, like peace. I didn't feel victorious. I felt clear, and I knew, deep in my gut, that Evan wasn't done. People like him never are. I'd read about it once. In therapy, they call it an extinction burst. That moment when someone realizes they've lost control and reacts by escalating everything. Louder accusations, bigger lies, desperate attempts to pull you back into the chaos. Evan's extinction burst arrived exactly 7 days after the airport, at 2:03 a.m. My phone buzzed with another Ring notification. I didn't open it right away. There's a particular kind of dread that settles in your chest when your body knows something is wrong before your brain catches up. I sat up in bed, heart pounding, and finally tapped the screen. There he was, standing in the hallway outside my apartment door, alone. He still had the building key fob. I hadn't thought to deactivate it, but the apartment lock had been changed. He tried the handle once, twice. Then he pulled a card from his wallet and started jamming it between the door and the frame. I watched silently as he failed, over and over. 10 minutes later, he gave up. Before leaving, he bent down and slid a folded piece of paper under the door. I didn't pick it up until morning. We need to talk. You're being unreasonable. Kayla and I are just friends now. Please give me another chance. I love you. Just friends. Already. That was fast. By 9:30 a.m., I was sitting across from my manager, Chris, in a glass-walled conference room at work. Someone filed a complaint, he said carefully. Anonymous. I didn't need to ask who. He slid a printed page across the table. According to the complaint, I had bragged about making a man homeless, created a hostile work environment, used my financial power to punish a partner. I didn't react. I opened my folder instead. Screenshots, timestamps, the Ring footage, the original text, the canceled card confirmation. Chris skimmed for less than 2 minutes before exhaling sharply. Jesus, he muttered. Your ex is unstable. That's one word for it, I said. He handed everything back. We'll document this as a personal matter. Keep it out of the office. I already am, I replied. That afternoon, Evan launched his next attack, a GoFundMe. The title read, "Help me escape an abusive relationship and start over." The description was creative. According to Evan, I had emotionally abused him for years, controlled all finances to isolate him, sabotaged his attempt to leave, made him homeless out of spite. Goal, $5,000. Amount raised in 24 hours, $86. Every dollar from his sister. One of my friends commented under it, "Didn't you cheat on her with your ex?" The fundraiser disappeared within hours. Then Kayla messaged me again. "He's been texting nonstop, saying you manipulated both of us." I replied once. "Block him." She did. That night, Evan tried one last angle. He showed up at my office. Security called me. "There's a man here asking for you," the guard said. "Says he's your boyfriend." Ex-boyfriend, I corrected. Do not let him in. He says it's an emergency. Unless he's actively bleeding, it's not, I replied. I watched on the security monitor as they escorted him out. He was holding a box, my college sweatshirt, my favorite mug, things he'd clearly hidden when he left. He texted from the parking lot. "I have your stuff. Let me up and we can talk." I replied, "Keep them. Consider it a parting gift." His response came instantly. "You don't even want your things back?" "Not if it means seeing you." That was the moment I felt it. Not anger. Not sadness. Detachment. The extinction burst burned itself out quickly after that. His sister kicked him out after he used her credit card without asking. His parents gave him an ultimatum: get a job or leave. He chose option 3, try to crawl back to me. The text shifted tone daily. "I miss you. I made a mistake. You owe me after everything I did for you. You'll never find anyone like me. You're going to die alone." I didn't respond to a single one. I just saved them for the restraining order I hoped I wouldn't need. When the silence finally came, it wasn't dramatic. It was exhausted, like someone realizing the door was locked and staying that way. By the time the silence settled in, it felt earned. Not the fragile kind, the kind that breaks the moment you relax, but the steady, dependable quiet that comes after something destructive finally burns itself out. It had been 6 weeks since Evan stood outside my door at 2 a.m. with a folded apology and no plan. 6 weeks since I stopped responding, stopped explaining, stopped defending myself to people who were committed to misunderstanding me. Life kept moving, which was the part Evan never seemed to understand. I got a promotion at work. Nothing flashy, no champagne announcement. Just my manager pulling me aside one afternoon and saying, "You've been doing incredible work. We want to recognize that." Turns out when you're no longer funding someone else's chaos, emotionally and financially, you have a lot more energy to invest in your own life. My apartment stayed clean. My bank account stopped bleeding. My nervous system finally unclenched. Evan, on the other hand, did not fare as well. Rachel kicked him out after he used her credit card for emergency groceries, which turned out to be takeout, a gaming subscription, and a hoodie he didn't need. She called me once, voice tight with frustration. "He says you ruined his life," she snapped. "I didn't," I replied. "I just stopped rescuing him." She hung up. His parents gave him 30 days. He lasted 3. He tried staying with friends, burned those bridges fast. Tried crashing with Kayla. She blocked him. Tried another online relationship, this one with a woman from Canada who stopped replying after he asked her to help cover rent. Reality has a way of collecting debts eventually. One Saturday afternoon, I ran into Kayla at the grocery store. The universe has a cruel sense of timing. We recognized each other instantly. "Hey," she said cautiously. "Hey," I replied. We stood there awkwardly between the produce and frozen foods. "I'm sorry," she said finally, "for my part in all of that." "I know," I said, and I meant it. She hesitated. He wasn't honest with either of us. "No," I agreed. "He's very good at telling people what they want to hear." She sighed. "I blocked him everywhere. He tried to message my friends, my sister, my coworkers." "That tracks," I said. We shared a look, 2 women bonded by the same exhausting lesson. As I walked away, I felt something unexpected. Closure. Not because he apologized, but because I no longer needed him to. A month later, I started casually seeing someone from my gym. His name was Noah. He had a job, his own place, and when he talked about his ex, it was with accountability instead of blame. He paid for his own coffee. The bar was underground at this point, but somehow that still felt refreshing. Evan found out. Small cities have long memories. He texted me from a new number. "So you've already replaced me." I stared at the message for a long moment before replying. "You replaced yourself 6 months ago." He responded instantly. She never meant anything. Neither did I, apparently. That one hurt once. Then it didn't. "Have a nice life, Evan." I blocked the number for the final time. A week later, Rachel messaged me. Just one line. "He tells everyone you're the worst ex he's ever had." I smiled. Good. People like Evan need villains when they can't face themselves. Last I heard, he was working part-time at a cafe. Still living with his parents, Still posting vague quotes about emotional depth and misunderstood men. Still convinced the world owed him something. But me? My credit cards were mine. My apartment was peaceful. My life was drama-free. I didn't need revenge. I didn't need justice. I just stopped enabling him and let gravity do the rest. Because when you remove the safety net from someone who's never learned to stand on their own, reality always shows up to finish the lesson.